President also just signed another executive order establishing the bipartisan Presidential Advisory Commission on Election Integrity. This will be chaired by Vice President Mike Pence. The President is committed to the thorough review of registration and voting issues in federal elections, and that's exactly what this commission is tasked with doing.
Do you make the same commitment that you will absolutely, sir, that you will absolutely accept the result of this election?
I will look at it at the time.
What about this kerfuffle now? It's bigger than a kerfuffle about whether Donald Trump will accept the results of this election. Will he?
Yes, because he's going to win it. So, of course.
How about if he doesn't? We'll accept those results.
He says that, you know, we all say absent irregularities and widespread fraud and any kind of mischief that is reported, that, sure.
And I will totally accept the results of this great and historic presidential election if I win. They even want to try and rig the election at the polling booths where so many cities are corrupt, and you see that. And voter fraud is all too common.
Don't kid yourself. Voter fraud is real.
Does the president believe that millions voted illegally in this election, and what evidence do you have of widespread voter fraud in this election, if that's the case?
The president does believe that.
Telling them that you lost the popular vote because of millions of illegal votes, 3 to 5 million illegal votes. That would be the biggest electoral fraud in American history. Where is the evidence of that?
I said it, and I said it strongly, because what's going on with voter fraud is horrible. If you look at voter registration, you look at the dead people that are registered to vote, who vote, you look at people that are registered in 2 states, you look at all of these different things that are happening with registration, you take a look at those registration, you're going to find, and we're going to do an investigation on it.
But 3 to 5 million illegal votes?
Well, we're going to find out.
You say you're going to launch an investigation into this.
Sure, done.
What you have presented so far has been debunked. It's been called false.
Take a look at the Pew reports.
I called the author of the Pew report last night, and he told me that they found no evidence of voter fraud.
Really? Then why did he write the report?
He said no evidence of voter fraud.
Excuse me. Then why did he write the report?
So
according to Pew report, then he's groveling again. Of those votes cast, none of them come to me.
Is there any validity to the criticism of you that you say things you can't back up factually? And as the president, if you say, for example, that there are 3 million illegal aliens who voted.
Many people have come out and said I'm right. You know that.
I know, but you got to have data to back that up.
Let me just tell you, it has to do with the registration. And when you look at the registration and you see dead people that have voted, when you see people that are registered in 2 states that voted in 2 states, when you see other things, when you see illegals, people that are not citizens and they're on the registration rolls. Look, Bill, we can be babies, but you take a look at the registration. You have illegals, you have dead people, you have this. It's really a bad situation. And I'm going to set up a commission to be headed by Vice President Mike Pence.
This issue of busing voters into New Hampshire is widely known by anyone who's worked in New Hampshire politics. It's very real. It's very serious. This morning on this show is not the venue for me to lay out all the evidence, but I can tell you this. Voter fraud is a serious problem in this country.
Do you have any evidence?
If this is an issue that interests you, then we can talk about it more in the future. And we now have our governance beginning to get stood up, but we have a Department of Justice and we have more officials. And the issue of voter fraud is something we're going to be looking at very seriously and very hard. But the reality is that we know for a fact you have massive numbers of non-citizens registered to vote in this country. Nobody disputes that.
Do you think that talking about millions of illegal votes is dangerous to this country?
No, not at all.
Presenting the
not
evidence?
at all, because many people feel the same way that I do. And
you don't think it undermines your credibility if there's no
evidence? No, not at all,
evidence?
because they didn't come to me, believe me. Those were Hillary votes.